Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Atha Shodashodhyayaha. This is the 16th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, the 16th discourse of Bhagavan Sri Krishna to Sri Arjuna on Atma Vidya. And the nama of this chapter is Daiva asura sampad vibhaga yoga. Daiva means divine, asura means non-divine, and sampat means what we have earned. It can be wealth, or it can be objects, it can be values, and it can be friendship, relationship, anything. Students, all these are sampat only. So what we have earned by our work or by karmas is sampat. So here in this chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells about the wealth of values. That is, the what we have earned is the values, the asuric and the daiva values, and that difference, vibhaga, the difference of the asuric and the daiva values, and about that is this chapter. In this chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells about many values. In the first three shlokas itself, there are nearly 26 values Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling about the daiva sampad, that is the daiva gunas. We all have three gunas, that is sattva, rajas and tamas. No one will have one guna alone. But in a person, only one guna will be dominating. If the sattva guna is dominating, then we say that is a sattva pradhana. Sattva guna is dominating. So that person will have all the sattvic nature, humbleness, intelligence, brightness, everything. Brightness of the mind, everything. So that is a sattva guna. The next guna is the rajo pradhana gunas. That is, rajo pradhana gunas means selfishness, passion, desire. Somehow I have to achieve it. All these are rajo pradhana gunas. And the third is the tamo pradhana gunas. Tamo pradhana gunas means always inertia, hurting others, enjoying when the others suffer, insulting others, causing disturbance to others in any way. So these are all tamo pradhana gunas. So the daiva sampati is, the daiva nature is, one will have the sattva guna. But the rakshasas and the asuras, they have tamo pradhana, or they may be tamo pradhana and rajo pradhana nature. So they will have rajasic nature or tamasic nature. So the goal of this chapter is to identify what type of person we are. We have to self-analyze it. And it is not that Bhagavan is telling about all these gunas to find out whether others have these gunas and point out to others and make them embarrass them by that way or insult them by that way. It's not for that Bhagavan is telling about these gunas. Bhagavan is telling about these gunas for ourselves to analyze our gunas, identify our guna and improve ourselves. Everyone will have the trace of rajoguna, trace of tamoguna and sattva if you are of sattvic nature. But if you are of rajasic nature, that will be more, and we will have the other two in a less proportion. The third is the same with the third. So we have to identify what guna we have, in what guna we dominate, and identify, self-identify, and improve the sattvic nature and reduce our asuric nature. We all have three of these gunas, so we have to reduce the asuric nature and improve the daiva nature, that is the daiva guna or sattvic guna. It is for this purpose, that is the goal of this chapter. That's why Bhagavan very clearly tells about this nature. Why do we have improved that? What is the need for all this? The importance is, when we have sattvic guna, our mind will be pure. Our mind will be very subtle, and we will automatically or will have a natural instinct to absorb knowledge. We will have the desire to understand scriptures. We will have the desire to go to the satsang, chant mantras, do rituals, read the scriptures. So all this, a person who have sattvic nature, they will do. But the Rajasic and Tamasic nature, even when a book is given to them, they won't feel right to read it because I'm too young. Why should I read it now? That's how they argue because of their Rajasic or Tamasic nature. Now, the next thing is what is the importance of knowledge? Why should we read scriptures in this data and science world? What is the need for it? The importance is whatever profession we may do, whatever life we may lead, if we do not have knowledge, at least to some extent, then it is very difficult for us to sail in this ocean of samsara. So many obstacles are there. So if our mind is affected by each and every one of that, then we will not lead a very peaceful or happy life in spite of having money or status or anything. So this knowledge or Brahma Vidya to some extent is absolutely needed for the people who are even have the materialistic life, who lead materialistic life too. That's the importance of knowledge. Knowledge is for all. It's not only for the sannyasis or it's not only for the people who live a secluded life. It is for the humanity, especially Bhagavad Gita, because it gives the core concept of Upanishad in a very lucid way. It is very important. Without having this knowledge, to at least to some extent, it will be very difficult for us to survive in this world. At least with peace of mind, a little peace of mind, because we experience so much of pressure and tension from all aspects of life. So, absolutely needed. Knowledge is absolutely needed. Brahma Vidya is absolutely needed. At least we must have a theoretical knowledge who we are. Then at times it will help us to come out of all the miseries in life. So that's the importance of this chapter. That's the importance of knowledge too. So this chapter has 24 shlokas, very deep shlokas. So let us go into this chapter. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Vyavasthitihi Dhanandhamascha Yajnascha Swadhyayastava Arjavam. In this shloka, there are nine values, daiva values. And Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling Abhayam, that is fearlessness, Sattva Samshuddhi, the purity of mind, or the Chitta Shuddhi, Jnana, that is Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi. Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi. It is about attaining knowledge. Dhanam, sacrifice or giving our what we have to others. Dhamma, control of the indriyas. Yajna, the sacrifices. Swadhyaya, Swadhyaya means understanding the scriptures. Tapas, austerity. Arjavam, Arjava means the straightforwardness. So let us see in deep all these qualities. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling about Abhaya. Abhayam is a daiva guna. That is, it is not an asuri guna. The asuras and rakshasas, they have that ignorance, and because of that, they always fear. But daiva guna is fearlessness. What is fearlessness? To understand what is fearlessness, we have to understand what is fear. Any child, when it is born, it will be fearless only. That's why it goes and grab the insect, grab even the snake, go everywhere. Fearless nature. But that fearless nature is out of ignorance. No one can say that it is fearlessness out of jnana, out of ignorance. We have to control that, because when a child goes and grab a snake or some insect, by disturbing it, that insect will also disturb the child. So to protect the child, we must give some fear to that child, telling that it will bite or don't disturb it, like that. Suppose we cross the road. If we just walk on the road thinking that I am have the fearless nature, then it's not protection for us, because the others will be disturbed by it, and so they will disturb us. We are an obstacle to that flowing traffic, so they may hit on us, or they may bang the horn. So that is not good. It is the fearless nature out of ignorance. But what Bhagavan is telling here is fearless nature out of jnana, out of intelligence. Why we have fear? The eminent philosopher J. Krishnamurti, has given a lot of talks on this topic, and the people they have in that organization, they have compiled it as a book. The name of this book is On Fear. So, what is that fear? And Jadu Krishnamurti says that fear is the conditioning of the mind. When we condition the mind like that, then in gradually we have a fearful nature. We will not be able to do anything, because this conditioning of the mind, these advices that will disturb us. So some fear to some extent is good, but not more than a limit. So fearless nature is conditioning of the mind on unnecessary things. We fear for unnecessary things. So that should be avoided. One of the prominent fear we all have is, if we do not get it, we have a fear. Whether this will evade me, what will I do if I do not have this? It can be of wealth, money, status, position, education, relationships. If I do not get this, what will happen to me? That is one fear. Okay, if we get it, then will we be satisfied? No. Immediately a fear will come. I have to protect it, or otherwise someone will take it from us. I have to protect this position, or otherwise my junior will come to that position. So this is unnecessary fear. If we do not get it, we have one fear. And if we get it, we have another fear. So either way, it is fear. So this fear should be avoided. How can we avoid this type of fear? Having faith in Bhagavan, or having faith in our own self, or on our own talent. When we have faith in Bhagavan, when we understand that my body and mind exist in Bhagavan, or if we go beyond that level, higher than that level, I am that Brahman, that pure Jiva. If we have either of this thought, that is one step lower or one step higher, when we have that one step lower is I exist in Bhagavan, that is the beginning step. The next higher step is I am the Jiva, the Amsha of Bhagavan. Either way, if we think, then we will develop a fearful nature out of jnana, that is out of intelligence or out of knowledge. Or otherwise, we will have a fear, and sometimes the people around us will induce fear in us. So we will go that way. So it is all out of ignorance, and this fear should be avoided, and one must have that knowledge, understand the nature of ourself, and develop a fearful nature. That's what Bhagavan is telling here as Abhayam. We might have noticed that we go to Bhagavan, or when we go to temples, Abhayam, protect me. That is, give me a fearless nature so that I will be clear of this mind, or I will not have unnecessary fear. So one of the main reasons for fear is desire, passion, and ignorance, of course, ignorance. So these are the three factors that give fear for us. So we must analyze this and avoid it. The next guna in this shloka is Sattva Samshuddhi, that is Chitta Shuddhi, purity of mind. Purity of mind means one must not have the unnecessary thoughts. All the good values have to be kept in mind. Some people, they just have so many of bad memories, bad situations, what they might have faced, or they might have experienced, or they might have seen otherwise. So they all remember all that and degrade themselves, or sometimes when they might have been insulted by others, so that they will keep in mind and to just burn inside. So what's the need of all that? If we have all that unnecessarily thought in our mind, then the mind will not be pure, then it will not be sharp, and it will not have the capacity to grasp Atma Vidya. So it's very important to understand the defects of our mind, in which way we are being dragged down. We have to do self-analysis, to drag it down and then come over it. So the chitta shuddhi or sattva sham shuddhi is very important. All the negative way of thinking should be removed first in the first place. For example, when someone goes out from our house and if they may take time, so they may have stuck in some places in the workplace or some places they might have gone. So if they are stuck there, naturally they will not return at the right time or the promised time. Immediately what we think, something might have happened to my son or something might have happened to that person. So much of traffic is there. So these are all negative thoughts because we have conditioned our mind that if a person doesn't return on time, then something has happened to him. This we might have grasped or grabbed these information and stored in our mind by saying movies or reading in newspapers or from the social media, whatever it may be. We have to come over it. So, sattva samshuddhi is very important to clear off all the negative thoughts from our mind. The next important guna is, all this Bhagavan is telling about the sattva guna, daiva guna. Jnana yoga vyavasthiti. Jnana means knowledge. Knowledge, we gain or attain knowledge by manan, shravana and manana. We read scriptures, we understand scriptures and we think over it. So through shravana and manana, we attain knowledge. Yoga is practicing that knowledge. So jnana yoga is practicing that knowledge, thinking about it over and over again and with deep contemplation on it. So all this is jnana yoga. And vyavasthiti means constant practice till we attain that goal. That is jnana yoga vyavasthiti. This can happen by going to satsangs. When we go to satsang, many people like us will be there, so we can interact with them, or by reading scriptures, by doing mantra japa, bhajans. All these help us to attain this practice till we attain that goal. And the next guna is dana. Dana means that is what we have and what is worthy for us, that we have to share with others, not just to give to others all our throwaway things. That is not dana, that is in a way corruption. So dana is giving what we have or sharing what we have with others. Very prominent dana, or people limit that dana only to wealth or giving money and object to others. That is not only giving money or object to others. That is a very limited way of seeing dana. Dana is it's a wide concept or a wide idea. We can share our knowledge with others if they need. If they are in need of our knowledge, we can share it with others. We can share our valuable time with others. If we respect the time, then sharing that time with others is a dana. If even we do not respect the time, then sharing it with others is not a dana. It's only passing of time. But if we respect the time and if we share it with others, then it is a dana. So like this, it goes on, sharing our ideas with others, again, if they need it, if they want it. We should not impose on others our ideas or even money. They may need something else, but I have only this, so take it. So imposing money or even money or whatever it may be, we should not give it to others, force it on others. That is not dana then. Dana is understanding the mentality of others who are in need and sharing what we have, worth of it or valuable with others. That is dana. While doing dana, we have to be very careful or respect the mentality of the people who receive it. Because when we give to anything to others, the recipient may feel inferior. So if we too behave in that way, they may feel more inferior, isn't it? So we should take care that the others should not feel inferior in accepting what we give. So all these are core values which should be respected by giving dana. Dana is not just giving 10 rupees or 100 rupees to others or throwing off rupees. Then it is not dana. So this should be taken care. So that is a great daiva sampat. Dhana, then dhamma. Dhamma means the control of the senses. We use our senses in many ways. That is the senses, what we see, what we taste, what we speak, what we hear. We use it in many ways. We use it mainly in three ways. That is, we use our indriyas for performing karma, our day-to-day karmas like our prarabdha karmas. We use it. Normally, we all do that. Next is using our indriyas to attain knowledge or to attain liberation or yoga sadhana. That is the higher way of using our indriyas. The third way is using our indriyas for wrong purpose. That is a very degrading value. We should not indulge in such things. That is even if we have sattva guna, using our senses for such low grade values, it will drag us down to the tamo guna. So that's why we should see something good, hear good something good. So that is very important. How we use this indriyas is very important. The next thing is when we see something or when we hear something, when our mind is disturbed by that, then we should not repeat it. Some people, out of compulsion, they have to repeat it. So even if they have to repeat it, they must purify their mind immediately by chanting mantras or doing japa or anything, whatever it may be. So the control of indriyas is very important because it is through the senses or the door of the mind to the external world. So what we feed the mind through the indriyas, according to that only the mind will perform. So if the mind is not pure, immediately we have to check. If the mind is not peaceful, immediately we have to check from which door that unnecessary thing has come. So we have to be very careful. That is the tamaha, control of the senses. And the next is the yajnaha. There are two types of yajnas. That is, one is the Shoda karmas and the other is the Smarta karmas. Smarta karma, Shoda karmas are the karmas said in the Vedic Vedas. Some of those yajnas are not possible nowadays because there are no facilities for that nowadays. The other is the Smarta karma. Smarta karmas is the karmas or the rituals said in the yajnas, said in the scriptures or the Puranas anyway. So this has to be followed. Only why should we follow all these yajnas and all that? To purify our mind. Only for that purpose. And the next thing is, we get so much from the outside world. For example, we do not know the value of it, what we get, and we take for advantage. For example, we breathe. Who gives this air? We take it for advantage. We do not know the value of it. That's why we pollute the air. Water, very common thing. We just use it as if it is our property. It is the property of the nature. We do not know the importance of it. That's why we misuse it or overuse it. We do not keep the earth, the soil clean. We misuse it. We throw whatever we want just without caring for it on the ground, on the soil. We just don't care because we do not know the importance of it. So all this, we get so many things from the outside world, from the nature. So it is our responsibility to respect it, to show gratitude to it, and to give it back if possible. So, for that only, in the Puranas, the 5 types of yajnas are prescribed. That is the Pancha Mahayajnas. First is the Bhuda Yajna. Bhuda Yajna is worshipping or respecting the fellow beings. Just for example, cow. It gives so much of milk, but at least one time have we thought that how we are tasting this coffee, very good coffee without milk. Is it possible? So just like this, each and everything, the farmers, we are just taking the vegetables. We do not care, and in fact, sometimes we blame them for not giving good products. So that care for the fellow beings, respecting the fellow beings, gratitude to the fellow beings, like that, each and everything, we have to analyze it and respect it. That is the Bhuta Yajna. For example, Go Puja. It is one example like this. Just understanding the service the others do to us, that itself is a great yajna. The next is the Manusha Yajna. Many people approach us, whether it may be in the office or in the house as guest, or some people want to see us. That time, sometimes if we are not in mood, we don't respect them, we insult them, or we take advantage of them. So this is a great problem in today's lifetime. Tension. I have tension, so I shouted back to you. So that's not a good way or the cultured way of living. So Manisha Yajna. The next is the Rishi Yajna. Rishi Yajna means so many rishis have given us so many scriptures. At least to have that, open that and read it. If you understand it better, if not understand it, repeatedly we have to read it. So that is respecting the Rishi. See, this Bhagavad Gita itself, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gave, he said, but he didn't codify it. It is only great Veda Vyasa who codified it. So we have to understand the value of it. And so many acharyas, including Adi Shankaracharya, he has written the Bhashya for it. Many acharyas after that. So we compare all that and we understand. So that should be respected. So respecting the acharyas, respecting the rishis, that is Rishi Yajna. The next is the Pitru Yajna. This most people will do because they when they face some obstacles in their life, immediately they do puja for the ancestors. But you should not be like that. We have to respect the ancestors because it is their line we are taking forward, and it is their blood that is running in us. It is their gunas that we are following. So that should be understood and respected, or at least remembering them on their day, or doing dana in their name. Also, anything according to our way of thinking, we can do it. The next is the daiva yajna, that is the worship of the god and deities. This most people will do because we think that only when we worship God we get so many things in life. But the main thing of all this yajna is, by doing all these yajnas, we get the purity of mind and our knowledge increases, and by that we will find our own way to survive in this samsara sagara, or we will find our own way to contract with our prarabdha karmas. So that is very important, to take decisions and face any situation. So all this gradually we will develop that nature. We may not, it's not a thing to happen overnight. Gradually, when we do all this yajna, we will have that braveness of mind, that is fearless nature to face any situation in life with humbleness and intelligence, not out of arrogance. And the next guna what Bhagavan says is swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means the same thing, understanding the scriptures. There are two ways of understanding the scriptures. The first is the Shabda Grahana, and the next is the Artha Grahana. Shabda Grahana is memorizing the slokas, memorizing the hymns, all that is the Shabda Grahana. In ancient time, what happens is in the Gurukulas, the students has to first by heart the scriptures. If they want to understand the Bhagavad Gita, for example, then they have to by heart all the 700 slokas. Only then, testing whether they have memorized it, that acharyas will give explanation in a way that is good. Because when when the slokas are familiar, then we understand the meaning better. The very famous sloka, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya se dushkridam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. That shloka was made famous by the great film directors. They took Mahabharata and made that shloka famous. See how easily we understand the meaning of it, and we will have an interest to understand the meaning of it. So it is for that sole purpose. They have to memorize the shlokas, and only then the acharyas will start giving the meaning or the explanation for the shlokas. So just like that, if we have memorized all the shlokas, then naturally we will have the interest to understand the meaning, isn't it? So that's the sole purpose. They make the shlokas familiar and then only they give the artha, that is the explanation or meaning. The next way of understanding the scriptures is the artha grahana, that is understanding the meaning itself, and directly going to the meaning. I think in this world, in this today's time, in the Kali Yuga, only that is possible, I feel, because no one have that memorizing capability now. We do not even remember our phone numbers. Then how to remember these difficult shlokas? So it will take many lifetime. So I think it's better to directly go to the Artha Grahana, understand at least some part of the, some percentage of the Artha. I'm not sure whether we understand completely all the meaning. To some extent, as far as possible, we have to try to understand Grahana of the meaning, Artha of the scriptures. So that is Swadhyaya. Whatever we understand, let us try for it. Because if we wait the time going after perfection, then nothing will happen. To what percentage we understand, that is good. Then we can improve from that level, isn't it? So that Artha Grahana is very important in today's lifetime. That is the meaning of Swadhyaya. It is a great daiva sampat. The next is the tapa. Tapas means to control, practicing to control our mind and the senses and body. That is tapas. It can be of any way. We can practice rituals, we can practice the reading scriptures, understanding meaning. That is also one tapas. Control of the word, food, control of speech, great tapas, and control of the mind and the senses, staying away for some time, secluded place, and that way we can control the speech and also mind. So all these way of different types of tapas. That is one important daiva guna. The next ninth guna in this first shloka itself is arjavam. Arjava means the straight way, the what we think we should say, what we say we should do, perform, action. So that straightforwardness, a straight way of thinking, word and action. This is very important. What we think we may not say. What we say we may not do. So that is very common in this time, but that should be avoided. Arjava means straight way of thinking, words and speech and doing action. It needs a great mind power, really a courage, willpower to do this. We may find it so easy and we may find so many excuses to say that it's not possible nowadays, but many people are like that. Not many, many are like that. They just don't do anything opposite to their thought or not do anything, say anything opposite to their, what they think. And these are the nine values said in this first shloka.